What's good, people? It's your boy Les from the St. Jean family, and welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and rocking with your boy, man. And I pray that you guys are having an amazing day today as well. And today's reaction is this 300-pound Taekwondo master in the UFC, Chris Barnett. But before we jump into this video, if this is your first time stopping by, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, man. Give your boy a like. You'll be doing me a favor, and at the same time, you'll be helping me out. And if you haven't already, give your boy a like. So if you got me, let's jump into this reaction.
He slips that punch.
And then he lets John Vellante back in.
You can't touch this.
Barnett was born in Spain, where his father was serving in the military at the time. A little later, the family moved to the United States, to Colorado. Both parents and the older brother were deeply engaged in martial arts and practiced Taekwondo. So Chris had no choice but to hang out with them in the gym since childhood. The young talent quickly reached black belt level and from the 10th grade began training in wrestling. This allowed him to get a sports scholarship for a small college in Kentucky. While being there, Chris added judo to the fighting arsenal, as he couldn't find anything else to do after classes. Barnett started MMA after graduating and moving to Florida. No one in the gym took the freshman seriously due to his plush panda looks. But at the age of 22, Chris weighed 300 pounds and was 5 foot 9 inches tall, but had the mobility and agility of a lightweight. When he came to meet Extreme Fighting Championship matchmakers, they were amazed and swiftly signed Barnett. In April 2009, the newcomer made his professional debut. The first opponent was Jonathan Ivey, who had more than 70 fights under his belt. Chris beat the brakes off his foe for 15 minutes. He threw a variety of kicks, constantly landed combinations, and dominated on the ground. At some point, Barnett got super confident and went for a suplex. After adding finishing touches to a thorough ass-kicking, the debutante took the victory by unanimous decision.
That big boy can move.
4 months later, Chris was back in the game. His rival, Danny Perez, compiled a 3-fight winning streak and was set to bring the chubster back down to earth. Barnett immediately started utilizing kicks, but quickly got stuck in the clinch. Before the break, he almost landed an overhand, missing by an inch. At the start of the second round, Beastboy found the range.
Em cima do Chris Barnett. No overhand, derruba. Vai pra cima o Chris Barnett. O Chris Barnett vai marretando, amassando o bife.
Chris celebrated his success with a flurry of emotions and a spectacular front flip. Barnett's next appearance was at the XFC 10 event. Across from him stood an American top team student, Kenny Garner. The future M1 champion was 35 years old and just starting his MMA journey. Garner fiercely made his way into the clinch and put Barnett on the canvas, ending up in a mount. Agile Chris tried to counter several times, but the enemy eventually took the back and attacked the neck. Beastboy survived, got back to his feet, and staged a real assault until the bell sounded. The second round began with a powerful throw and ended with an ill-advised kick. However, Barnett quickly flipped the script and even tried to go for an Americana. But time ran out again. In the final round, the Kung Fu Panda transformed into a bear. Another takedown, and before long, Garner was stopped with punches on the ground.
Bang.
Tá castigado, tá ajoelhado no milho, Kenneth Garner. Vai batendo, o árbitro para e encerra a luta.
After the battle, Barnett, in his usual style, delighted the audience with acrobatic sketches, turning it into a trademark.
Sensacional, gordinho. Mais uma vez, belíssima vitória para ele.
Encouraged by a successful career start, Chris decided to strike while the iron was hot. In just 3 months, he came out victorious twice. The scrap against Jay White was especially impressive. In the middle of the first round, the two big boys suddenly decided to throw down in the center of the cage.
He's willing to exchange, and there the big guys go.
Punches so that Barnett's punches aren't landing quite as hard.
Good.
Following several
big dudes,
grinding
what?
clinch exchanges, they went for it again.
White lets him go, and coming right back is Barnett. He lands a good right.
Soon the spectators witnessed another skirmish, this time with only one man
That
left
backup,
standing.
man.
White in some trouble at the moment.
Raining
Trying
down
to
punches.
swing his way out of it, back up.
And it was Barnett.
Finished it. Chris Barnett is still unbeaten. No one in the XFC can play the crowd.
The year of 2010 was action-packed for Chris. From March to July, he scored 3 notable wins, advancing his record to 5-0, and received an invitation to perform in Singapore. The up-and-comer was
that
put
boy
up
be
against
dancing,
a
boy.
gigantic retired soldier, Eric Prindle. Barnett entertained the crowd with a couple of signature strikes.
Very little in the way of fat muscle to protect it. Good quickly. Oh, at this size, we'll find it difficult to... Oh, goodness me.
And a relentless brawl mid-fight.
He's coming though, doesn't he? Yeah. Center of the ring, chasing his opponent, left and right.
Oh, you heard that?
Beautiful exchange.
But he got exhausted quickly and was forced to rely on his wrestling.
Strength. It's a real thrill to be so close to them up here at ringside. Down they go.
He ended the close bout with active ground and pound,
Rightly so. It ends in a flurry.
then dragged the opponent into a spontaneous dance battle after the final bell. A few minutes later, the judges awarded the victory to Prindle by a
like this
split
dude,
decision,
man.
marking the first loss of Barnett's career. Trying to get back on the winning track, Beastboy returned to the United States to face off against Mario Rinaldi, who'd made some noise on the regional scene and won 4 out of his last 5. Mario scored a quick takedown and put Chris in danger from the top.
Good, because he's got such a tough, it's not a healthy weight.
And have a look at him.
At some point, it seemed like Barnett would not last, but he survived and reversed the position in one big motion.
This would be amazing. Putting a pin on him now. Who would have thunk it? Look at Barnett go.
There you
Look
go.
at Barnett.
Rinaldi could
Turn
not
it
keep
around.
up with the pace, and in the beginning of the second round was crushed by a powerful onslaught.
Look at Barnett going up. It's good. Not over. Chris Barnett has done it again. We can do.
The fun-loving big man developed his
Hey.
success with a victory over another prospect.
Hey,
A future
Ali.
UFC fighter, Walt
Ali.
Harris, got outpointed to a unanimous decision.
Boy, Barnett ain't playing.
Barnett's career was going up, but everyday life circumstances got in the way. Signing a deal with XFC, he was too pumped to think about the consequences. An enslaving contract with a local organization tied him up for several years.
I like his little
As a
side
result,
back flip,
Huggy
man.
Bear was
That
out of
boy nice.
competition and got
I
out of
like this
shape,
big dude, man.
approaching
Barnett ain't
300
no
pounds
joke.
again. He returned in 34 months and had to compete at super heavyweight, which isn't even a thing in the biggest MMA organizations. Barnett signed with the Island Fights promotion, scored 2 technical knockouts, and became a champion, consistently impressing the fans
Huggy
with
Bear.
flexibility and coordination. Next up was a trip to Japan. Exceptional personalities are beloved in the land of the rising sun, and Barnett, with his unique style, knew perfectly well that this was his chance to become a star. On the scales, he set a personal record of 341 pounds and
That
walked to
boy
the ring
nice.
wearing an eye-catching suit, immediately conquering the fans. Veteran Travis View decided to spoil the party and spent almost the entire first round grinding the pot-bellied kid down on the mat.
Huggy Bear.
Chris, realizing that he couldn't win that type of fight, turned up the heat, and as soon as the second round started, caught View coming in.
That look like it ain't hurting him, man.
The charming Beast Boy was so impressed by the atmosphere that he promised the Japanese audience to return and put on another show. The rising prospect went back to the US, where a title defense against John Hill had already been scheduled. It took Barnett only 30 seconds to crowd the opponent against the ropes and send him into the shadow realm.
I like this guy energy, man.
It was time to fulfill the promise made to the Japanese fans. Chris came to the New Year's event and triumphantly closed 2014, destroying Shinichi Suzukawa in a matter of minutes.
Shinichi Suzukawa. Wow, raining down blows. Damn it, man.
People in Japan really loved him. The promoters were generous, and the fans squealed with delight every time this 350-pound man went airborne with spinning kicks. In the subsequent bout, he set flying legs once again, crushing the opponent's torso in the middle of the second round.
You felt that.
Barnett had won 8 fights back-to-back, but in this contest, the streak was interrupted. In the openweight Grand Prix semifinals, he lost to Ole Thompson by decision. Chris took out his anger on the already familiar Japanese fighter Suzukawa. The outcome was exactly the same as in their previous confrontation. Another New Year's show in Japan, another finish in less than 2 minutes, and another beating on the ground.
That boy, you getting down, boy.
Barnett was ready to return to the States, but he was invited to fight Kirill Sidelnikov, Fedor Emelianenko's protege, at one of the first Rizin events. Along with Mr. Olympia vibes, the scrap had a few loud clashes.
他们胖的是非常的灵活步伐，对，但是黑熊太过于抗打，对，哎呦，刚才危险，对
Beastboy fell through the ropes a couple of times.
哦，
The judges were divided on their opinions. 2 of them gave the victory to the Russian, spoiling Chris's last bout in Japan.
基里尔西。
30-year-old Barnett flew back to America and began shedding extra pounds to fit into the heavyweight limit. WSOF expressed interest in signing him, but the fight fell through. Then Chris decided to compete in boxing, won by unanimous decision, and even managed to drop his opponent. His next MMA bout took place in island fights. The lack of motivation was obvious. Barnett showed almost no activity and got caught with heavy strikes from little-known Frank Tate, who turned out to be quite a challenge. This time, the judges saw a win for Beastboy and helped him avoid a 2-fight losing streak. However, karma restored the balance soon. Chris was signed to the Korean promotion Road FC, where he was under no weight restriction yet again. The first opponent turned out to be Hyunman Myung, with a modest record of 3-3. Barnett took a clean blow at the very start, his left eye completely shut. A few minutes later, doctors were invited into the cage, but there was nothing they could do. The American's debut resulted in a defeat. A rematch took place 4 months later. Barnett came into it with 40 extra pounds, but was still considered a clear favorite.
On the clock.
Oh, come on, dude. Oh man, that buddy caught him with a
In the middle of the second round, Chris entered a shootout and suddenly fell face down into the canvas. Since then, Hugh never fought in the MMA, and Barnett returned to the all-forgiving island fights. Alex Nicholson, who had recently been fired from the UFC, was waiting for him. Barnett almost scored a knockout in the opening seconds, but instead of finishing the bout standing, started to grapple. Nicholson managed to stay on the feet and soon displayed some magic in close range. A short elbow from the clinch was a surprise, not only for Beastboy, but for the audience.
Man, guys, if you guys want to see more of this, man, if y'all like this content, man, let me know, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the video is actually a little longer, but I ain't want to drag it out too long, man. That boy Chris Barnett, man, hey, he's a beast, man. Hey, I like the man. He's very, very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And hey, you doing this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I respect that, man. Salute to you, Chris Barnett, man. So, guys, like I said, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to it, man. You'll be doing your boy a favor, and at the same time, you'll be helping me out, man. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it out with this, man. So I often tell you guys, no Christ, no life. So live life for Christ. Peace.